Hey YouTube, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. I saw this super cheap new car and boat radio, 6-channel radio, some weeks ago, and because it was so cheap, I simply had to order it. Will this be a competitor to the super nice DumboRC radios, which are super popular? But the main reason why I bought it was this. Check this out. This radio does have 2 push buttons on the handle. So I think that's super cool. None of the car radios I know does have 2 push buttons on the handle. You know, all the normal radios like my GT3C do only have 1 push button, of course, 8-channel. There are a lot more push buttons, or even the super cool high-end radios like, for example, the Noble, only 1 push button. And of course the competitors of this super cheap radio, the DumboRC radios, only 1 push button. That's the X4, and that's the X6. 1 push button, 2 more push buttons, but those push buttons here on the X6P DumboRC will not work with light switches or with on-off switches. Check my review video. They are made for shifting servos or shifting gears with servos. And why do I think push buttons are so cool, or 2 push buttons? Well, what's normal if you wanna set up a car, a truck, a scale truck? Normally you would like to have on-off switches for lights, and 1 simple on-off switch for the normal car lights, front, rear, and the second one for a light bar. This would be really cool. And a 3-position switch for a winch. That's it. Of course you can light up your truck super cool with light controllers, as with my DumboRC light controllers. I love this stuff, but it's really rather complicated. And why does none of the other radios have 2 simple push buttons for 2 light switches? Strange thing, I even don't know how I should name this radio, because it seems to have no name. It arrived with a super simple and nearly unreadable manual, and here it's called DX6. The DX6i was the first radio I bought for my helis and planes about 10 years ago, Spectrum. And there seems to be no name. And it arrived simply in this box. If you see this box, you know where I've bought it. It wasn't even packed in a plastic bag this time, only in this box. And inside this also already really damaged foam box. However, it's so cheap, so I won't complain now. First of all, what I found, this is not a 6-channel radio. This is a 5-channel radio. The receiver that comes with it, not waterproof, does have 6 channels and a bind button. And the radio does only have 5 channels. Channel 1, steering, channel 2, throttle, channel 3, push button, channel 4, push button, and channel 5, 3-position switch. And here there's channel reverse for channel 1 and channel 2, so for steering and throttle or motor. That's really nice. And trim for channel 1 and channel 2, and dual rate for channel 1 and channel 2. There's nothing below this. Does come with foam on the wheel, in contrary to the DumboRC radios. Also quite easily possible to do one-hand steering, so that's quite nice. Feels quite okay. Of course it's super mega cheap. It's not possible to change the wheel to the other side. We first thought this. However, doesn't feel that bad. Feels quite okay. Of course, super cheap, but at least same quality as the DumboRC radios, if not better. It needs 4 AA batteries or a 2S LiPo. You can take this battery compartment, this box out, and then there's a red JST plug for a 2S LiPo. And doesn't feel that bad, and I thought this could be a super nice radio for the cheap budget trucks like WPL trucks, MN trucks, for people who want to set up a cheap truck and want to have more than one light they will control only by simple on-off switches. That's the on-off switch of the radio, and it was already on. It's unbelievable. There should be a green light, status light, that shows the radio is on, but you hardly can see it. It's not a problem of the batteries. I tried with 2S LiPo, and the batteries, the NEMH, are totally charged. They are full. It's really hard to see if I make it there. So I even opened the radio in the beginning. It's quite easy to open with a couple of screws because I thought it didn't work, and then I found here is a green LED, and the light of it is so weak it's nearly impossible to see. So that's a downside, of course, but it works. And now you will ask, which protocol does this radio use? Honestly, I don't know. It would have been super nice if it would have worked with some FlySky protocols, or the DumboRC protocol, or the turbo racing. You know, those tiny transmitters that come with a lot of cars, meanwhile with Hobby Plus and the small RGTs and the Rockopi Jeep and the Katana and the Atlas and whatnot. And there's a 4-channel receiver for them, and would have been nice if this would have worked with this radio too, but it does not. I tested with DumboRC, doesn't work. With those turbo racing protocol, didn't work. And I tested with the FlySky protocols, AFHDS, what is in my GT3C, GT3B, didn't work. AFHDS2A from the GT5 or the GT2E or the FSIT4 didn't work. And also AFHDS3 from my FlySky Noble didn't work. Well, then I tested the radio of the SCX24, didn't work, and because it's named DX6, I also tested DSM2 and DSMX protocol with my DX9, my heli and plane radio, but didn't work. So I don't know. To have a jumper multi-protocol radio, maybe some protocol will work, or didn't test the Mini C protocols. However, it would have only been nice if it would have worked with, for example, the cheap FlySky receivers, or the DumboRC receivers, or the turbo racing receivers. But it works, even if you can hardly or not see the green LED. So steering reverse works, trim of course works, and dual rate works too. And channel 3 and channel 4 for some lights. So let's put a switch on channel 3, that's this one. Nice, works. And a switch on channel 4. Come on. Where's channel 4? That's channel 4. Works too. So, light bar and normal lights. And let's put a tiny winch on channel 5. And let's check if this works too. Yes, works. 3 position, nice. So, perfect setup for a super cheap truck where you want to control 2 different lights by push buttons and a winch. I don't tell you buy this radio. Of course it's a super cheap radio, but a further option, and in some points even better than the DumboRC radios, and about the same price, super cheap. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. I'll be back.